Imagine holding a penny that looks ordinary, a coin you might overlook, toss in a jar, or spend without thinking. But what if I told you that a 1989 Lincoln cent in the right condition, or with the right error, could be worth thousands, even millions of dollars? That's not just a dream. It's the reality of the coin collecting world where one small detail transforms a humble cent into a life-changing treasure. For the next few moments, let's explore how a single 1989 Lincoln penny, a coin you may have touched countless times, could be hiding incredible value. The Lincoln cent has been in circulation since 1909, honoring the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. By 1989, it had already been a household staple for 8 decades. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the coin features Lincoln's iconic profile on the obverse and, during that era, the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. Millions upon millions of these coins were minted, and at first glance, you might think that makes them too common to ever be worth more than a cent. But rarity in coins isn't always about how many were struck. It's about condition, errors, and unique characteristics that collectors crave. In 1989, the U.S. Mint produced billions of pennies across its facilities, with the majority struck in copper-plated zinc. This composition, introduced in 1982, replaced the traditional 95% copper alloy due to rising metal costs. The result was a coin weighing just 2.5 grams, with only a thin layer of copper over a zinc core. While these coins were mass-produced and seemed uniform, errors during minting, whether a doubled die, off-center strike, or wrong planchet, created rare variations that today command astounding prices. For example, a 1989 Lincoln cent with a bold double die obverse can turn a penny into a collector's prize. Imagine the words, "In God We Trust," or "Liberty," showing clear doubling under magnification. To an untrained eye, it might look like a blur, but to a numismatist, it's a jackpot. Coins like these can fetch hundreds or even thousands, depending on how dramatic the doubling appears and the coin's overall preservation. Then there are off-center strikes, where the design is noticeably shifted away from its intended position. Some 1989 pennies feature only partial images of Lincoln's profile or the Lincoln Memorial, leaving collectors scrambling to secure them. The more dramatic the error, the more valuable the coin becomes, with certain off-center pieces soaring well into the 4-figure range. Another fascinating rarity comes in the form of wrong planchet errors. This happens when a penny is mistakenly struck on a blank meant for another denomination, say, a dime or even a foreign coin. A 1989 Lincoln cent struck on a dime planchet would be lighter, smaller, and immediately recognizable as something unusual. These kinds of coins are considered spectacular finds, often bringing in thousands at auction. But beyond errors, condition alone can make a 1989 Lincoln cent worth far more than 1 cent. Collectors pay top dollar for coins graded in pristine mint state by services like PCGS or NGC. A regular 1989 penny in circulation might only be worth face value, but in flawless condition, with sharp details, no scratches, and brilliant luster, it could sell for hundreds or even thousands. In fact, some of the highest graded examples have reached record prices simply because they represent the finest known specimens of that year. The market for coins is driven by passion, rarity, and history. To the average person, the 1989 penny might seem forgettable, part of everyday pocket change. But to collectors, every tiny detail matters, whether it's the crispness of Lincoln's jawline, the strike quality of the memorial steps, or the clarity of the lettering. A single coin preserved carefully from 1989 could be the crown jewel of someone's collection, sparking bidding wars at auctions. Stories circulate in the numismatic community about lucky individuals discovering rare pennies tucked away in jars or old collections. Someone cashing in change might unknowingly hand over a treasure, while a collector with a keen eye might stumble across one at a coin show or flea market. That's the thrill of coin hunting, the possibility that the next penny you examine could change your life. The 1989 penny is also significant because it reflects an era of transition in U.S. coinage. The shift from copper to copper-plated zinc in the 1980s remains controversial among collectors. Some argue that the zinc cores corrode more easily, making pristine examples increasingly rare as time passes. That means high-grade 1989 cents may become even more desirable in the future, as fewer survive in perfect shape. Value also comes from nostalgia. For many Americans, the penny is tied to childhood memories of saving coins in piggy banks, completing coin boards, or receiving change at the corner store. The 1989 Lincoln cent, with its familiar memorial reverse design, represents a piece of that cultural memory. Collectors aren't just buying metal, they're buying history, sentiment, and the enduring legacy of America's 16th president on its smallest coin. When it comes to the most expensive examples, auction records tell the story. A flawless, mint-state 1989 cent with dramatic doubling or a rare planchet error has sold for thousands, shocking those who once thought pennies were worthless. While not every coin from this year carries life-changing value, the right combination of rarity and condition can elevate it into the realm of million-dollar potential, especially as the hobby grows and demand increases. So, what does this mean for you? It means that a simple glance at the pennies in your pocket or coin jar could reveal something extraordinary. Take a closer look at the date, the lettering, the details of Lincoln's face. Hold it under a light. Use a magnifying glass and look for doubling, off-center strikes, or unusual metal tones. What appears ordinary could, in fact, be a fortune waiting to be discovered. The 1989 Lincoln cent may be one of the most overlooked coins in circulation, but it embodies the magic of collecting, where a humble penny can be elevated into a prize worth far more than anyone imagined. It reminds us that hidden treasures exist in the most common places, waiting for sharp eyes and patient hearts to uncover them. So, the next time you hear the clink of a penny hitting the counter or rolling across the floor, don't dismiss it. That little coin might carry more than just 1 cent of value. It could hold the power to shock collectors, inspire fascination, and even change a life. Somewhere out there, among the billions of 1989 Lincoln cents, a hidden gem awaits discovery. A coin that proves even the smallest piece of change can be worth millions. Imagine holding a single penny in your hand, a coin so ordinary that most people wouldn't think twice before tossing it into a jar, a drawer, or even the street. But what if I told you that one specific penny, a coin struck in 1988, could hold the key to a fortune? What if the coin in your pocket was worth not just a cent, not just a few dollars, but thousands, even millions? That tiny sliver of copper, often ignored, can transform into one of the most valuable collectibles in the numismatic world. This is the story of the 1988 Lincoln cent, a coin that looks simple, but when you know what to look for, it could change your life forever. The Lincoln penny has always been a coin of mystery and fascination. Since its first appearance in 1909, collectors and historians alike have paid close attention to its subtle changes, its errors, and the way it reflects American history. The 1988 penny, at first glance, doesn't stand out. It bears the familiar bust of Abraham Lincoln on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the back. Billions of these coins were minted across the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints. Most of them remain pocket change today, their value barely rising above face value. But hidden among these billions are rare variations, mistakes, and transition designs that can turn a simple coin into a once-in-a-lifetime treasure. To understand the 1988 penny's potential, you need to know its context. The late 1980s was a transitional period for U.S. coinage. By this time, the composition of the penny had already shifted. Before 1982, pennies were mostly made of copper. But after rising copper prices, the U.S. Mint switched to a copper-plated zinc composition, which looked the same, but was much cheaper to produce. The 1988 Lincoln cent, therefore, is a zinc coin with a thin copper coating. Most people would never notice the difference, but to collectors, this detail matters. A coin's composition, strike, and even small design elements can affect its value. One of the most talked about varieties of the 1988 penny is the 1988 wide AM. On most coins from this year, the letters A and M in the word America on the reverse are close together. But in the rare wide AM version, the letters are spaced farther apart. This difference happened because of the use of a reverse die that was originally prepared for proof coins. By accident, this proof die found its way into regular circulation production. To the untrained eye, it looks like just another coin. But to a collector, this small spacing error creates huge value. Coins with the wide AM design can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on condition. Another fascinating aspect of the 1988 Lincoln cent is the transition errors tied to the year 1989. In 1989, the Mint made subtle design modifications to Lincoln's bust, especially in the shape of his initials and the portrait details. A small number of 1988 coins, however, were struck using the new 1989 obverse die. These transitional error coins are extremely rare and highly desirable. Imagine a coin collector noticing that the designer's initials under Lincoln's shoulder look slightly different. That small difference could be the sign that this coin doesn't belong to 1988 at all. It belongs to the error list, and that's where the money is. Coins with this rare die variety can command astonishing sums when authenticated by professional grading services. Collectors are obsessed with condition, and that's where things get even more exciting. A 1988 Lincoln cent pulled from circulation, with scratches, dings, and discoloration, may only be worth a few cents or a few dollars if it happens to be an error coin. But a pristine, uncirculated coin, especially one graded MS-67 or higher by professional services like PCGS or NGC, can fetch thousands. When you hear stories of a penny selling for $10,000, $25,000 or more, it's usually because of both rarity and condition. The fewer flawless examples that exist, the higher collectors are willing to pay to own one. It's easy to overlook a penny, but think about the billions of 1988 coins still sitting in drawers, piggy banks, and old jars across America. Among them could be a wide AM variety, or a transitional die error, or even a coin in such immaculate condition that it becomes a star at auction. Imagine being the person who finds one, who sends it to a grading service, and then watches as collectors battle in an auction to own it. That's the dream of coin collecting, the thrill that something so small, so overlooked, could change everything. Auction records prove the power of the 1988 penny. Some high-grade examples of rare varieties have sold for thousands. Stories circulate in the collecting world about coins that seemed ordinary until a careful eye noticed a small variation. Suddenly, a penny that cost 1 cent to make becomes a treasure worth more than a car, a house, or even a college education. It's these dramatic jumps in value that fuel the excitement and mystery of coin collecting. The 1988 Lincoln cent also reflects a deeper truth about American money. Coins are not just currency, they're history, frozen in metal. Every year of the Lincoln penny tells a story of design changes, political decisions, and minting technology. A small shift in how the dies were engraved in 1988 created errors that we now prize. It's a reminder that even the smallest details can carry extraordinary weight in the world of numismatics. So, why does this matter to you? Because you might be holding one of these treasures without knowing it. That jar of pennies you've been ignoring for years could contain a 1988 white AM or a transitional obverse error. All it takes is a careful look, a magnifying glass, and a little knowledge. And if you find one, you could turn pocket change into life-changing money. The next time you see a penny from 1988, don't dismiss it. Look closely at the details. Are the A and M in America spaced apart? Do the designer's initials look different than expected? Is the coin in exceptional condition with a flawless surface? These clues could mean you've discovered a coin worth thousands or more. And while most people continue to ignore these tiny copper-colored discs, you'll know the secret that a penny isn't always just a penny. The 1988 Lincoln cent stands as proof that hidden value exists in the smallest places. It shows us that fortune can lie in the overlooked, the ordinary, and the everyday. Somewhere out there, in circulation or tucked away in an old collection, is a 1988 penny that could be worth a fortune. It could be sitting right now in your pocket or waiting for you to find it in change. And when you realize its true value, you'll understand why collectors call these coins treasures in disguise. This is the magic of numismatics, the world where history, rarity, and condition combine to turn the smallest coin into the biggest prize. A penny minted in 1988, overlooked by millions, can rise to the level of $1 million collectible. The only question is, will you be the one to find it? Close your eyes for a moment and think about holding a coin that looks so ordinary, so small, yet in reality could be worth millions of dollars. A coin that many people have seen, spent, or tucked away in a drawer without giving it a second thought. This is not just about a piece of copper-plated zinc. This is about the 1990 Lincoln 1-cent coin, a piece of American history that has shocked collectors, inspired treasure hunters, and created legends in the world of numismatics. In just a few seconds, what appears to be loose change in your pocket transforms into a symbol of rare fortune. And today, we're diving deep into the story behind one of the most fascinating coins ever minted. The Lincoln cent is a coin everyone in the United States has handled at some point in their life. First introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, this coin has carried immense historical and cultural significance. By 1990, the Lincoln penny had already seen multiple design shifts, minting material changes, and countless varieties. Yet among the billions produced, a few rare versions of the 1990 penny became legendary, turning what should have been worth just 1 cent into a collectible valued at staggering amounts. The reason is not only the age of the coin, but also the unique errors, mint marks, and conditions that make certain 1990 Lincoln cents so desirable to collectors worldwide. To understand the true value of the 1990 Lincoln 1-cent coin, we need to go back to the details of its minting. In 1982, the composition of the penny shifted from 95% copper to a copper-plated zinc format, with only a thin layer of copper covering a zinc core. This change was made due to the rising cost of copper, and by 1990, all pennies were struck with this newer composition. The obverse of the coin still carried Victor David Brenner's iconic portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, while the reverse showcased the Lincoln Memorial, a design that had been in use since 1959. While the majority of these coins were struck and circulated with little fanfare, collectors later discovered that certain variations of the 1990 penny were incredibly rare. One of the most famous varieties of the 1990 penny is the 1990 No S-proof Lincoln cent. This coin is legendary in the numismatic community because it was struck without the S mint mark that signifies San Francisco minting. Proof coins are special editions, struck with extraordinary detail and polished dies for collectors, not circulation. The no-S varieties occur when the mint forgets to add the identifying mark. And in 1990, a small number of proof pennies escaped the mint without the S. These became instant treasures. For a coin collector, the absence of a small letter on the coin can mean the difference between a single cent and thousands, or even hundreds of thousands of dollars in value. Auction records tell us the real story of just how much this penny is worth. A 1990 no S proof. Lincoln cent has sold for tens of thousands of dollars, with pristine, high-grade examples fetching more than $20,000 or $25,000 at auctions. For coins graded PR69 Deep Cameo, collectors have paid extraordinary amounts because the coin is both visually perfect and historically rare. Over time, as these coins become harder to find and demand continues to grow, their value keeps climbing, and experts believe some of these rare varieties could one day cross into million-dollar territory if offered in the right setting. But the rarity doesn't end with just the no-S variety. Circulation strike 1990. Lincoln pennies also hold value when they are found in high mint state condition. Most coins enter circulation quickly and show signs of wear. However, examples graded MS67 or higher by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC are incredibly scarce. The reason is that it's nearly impossible to find a 1990 cent that has survived decades without scratches, marks, or loss of luster. For collectors obsessed with perfection, these high-grade coins sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on the exact grade and demand at the time. Error coins also play a major role in the fascination surrounding the 1990 Lincoln cent. Throughout history, minting errors have always drawn attention because they represent something unique, something unintended that slipped past the mint's strict quality controls. For the 1990 penny, errors such as off-center strikes, double dies, or wrong planche strikes are highly desirable. A penny struck on the wrong metal blank, for example, could be worth thousands. Imagine a 1990 penny struck on a dime planche, smaller in size, lighter in weight, and instantly recognizable as something unusual. These types of errors transform the ordinary into the extraordinary, and collectors pay enormous sums for them. The fascinating part about all this is that many of these valuable 1990 Lincoln cents are still out there. They could be resting in a jar of coins on someone's kitchen counter, buried in a box of childhood savings, or even given as change at a convenience store. That's what keeps treasure hunters motivated, the idea that 1 cent could change your life. This isn't just a collector's hobby. It's a hunt for hidden fortune. Stories of people finding rare pennies in pocket change or inherited collections keep the legend alive and fuel the dream that anyone could stumble upon a $1,000,000 penny. Even beyond rarity and value, the 1990 penny tells a story of transition in American coinage. By this time, the U.S. Mint was fully committed to the copper-plated zinc format, which sparked debates among collectors about durability and long-term appeal. Many people preferred the older, heavier copper cents, but the 1990 version reflects the economic reality of its time, practicality over tradition. Yet, paradoxically, it is precisely in this age of mass production and uniformity that rare mistakes like the no-S proof stand out so sharply, making them iconic. Collectors often say that coin collecting is more than just a financial pursuit. It's about history, art, and connection to the past. The 1990 Lincoln 1-cent coin embodies this perfectly. It reminds us of Lincoln's enduring legacy, the story of America's changing economy, and the thrill of discovery. Whether it's a flawless proof, a perfect mint state strike, or a dramatic mint error, each version of the 1990 penny carries a unique story that adds to its mystique and value. As we reach the end of this journey, think again about the simple penny. A coin most people dismiss, drop, or overlook. In reality, it could be worth more than a mansion, more than a luxury car, more than someone's lifetime savings. The 1990 Lincoln 1-cent coin proves that extraordinary value can be hidden in the most ordinary places. So the next time you come across a penny, don't just toss it aside. Look closely, because you never know. You might just be holding a coin that's worth millions. Imagine holding in your hand a single penny, a coin so ordinary that most people wouldn't give it a second thought. But what if I told you that one particular version of the Lincoln 1996 1-cent coin could be worth thousands, even millions of dollars today? Yes, the very coin you might have tossed in a jar or left in the back of a drawer could hold a hidden fortune, a treasure overlooked by millions who never stop to think about the true value of what they carry in their pockets. This is not just about money, but about discovery, rarity, and the thrilling possibility that you could be holding history in the palm of your hand. The Lincoln 1-cent coin from 1996 belongs to a long and iconic series of coins that began in 1909, commemorating Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States. By 1996, the Lincoln cent had already seen decades of history, transformations, and special mintings. What makes the 1996 penny stand out is not simply the year itself, but the unique variations, mint errors, and conditions that can turn an everyday coin into an extraordinary prize. Collectors around the world chase after these coins, and some versions have fetched shockingly high prices in auctions, leaving ordinary people stunned when they realize what they once spent or saved was actually worth a fortune. To understand why a 1996 penny can be so valuable, you have to consider the history of minting. The U.S. Mint produced billions of these coins in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Most of them are only worth their face value, a single cent. But in numismatics, the smallest difference, whether it's a double die, an off-center strike, or a rare proof in flawless condition, can make the difference between a coin worth 1 cent and one worth thousands of dollars. The thrill for collectors comes from the hunt, and the 1996 penny offers plenty of mysteries and hidden gems waiting to be uncovered. One of the most remarkable details about the 1996 penny is the proof coins struck at the San Francisco Mint. These coins were made with special care, using polished dies and planchets, producing sharp details and mirror-like surfaces. While most of these proofs are relatively common and affordable, in perfect condition graded PR70, they can reach significant prices, especially when demand among collectors is high. But the true treasures are often in the mint errors, those rare mistakes that slipped through quality control and made it into circulation. These errors create unique, one-of-a-kind coins that collectors will pay incredible amounts of money to own. Some of the known valuable errors for the 1996 Lincoln cent include off-center strikes, where part of the design is missing due to misalignment, or broad strikes, where the coin is stretched beyond its usual diameter. Then, there are double die errors, where parts of the lettering or design appear doubled, creating a dramatic effect that instantly catches the eye of collectors. Coins with die, cracks, cuds, or misprints of the mint mark also hold immense interest. Each of these errors tells the story of how even the most advanced minting process can sometimes falter, creating accidental masterpieces that become priceless over time. Condition, as always, plays a massive role in determining value. A 1996 penny in circulation, worn down by years of use, is worth only a cent. But a coin preserved in mint state, especially in higher grades such as MS-67 or MS-68, becomes a treasure. Coins in these grades are virtually flawless, with sharp details, no scratches, and a beautiful luster. Collectors fight over such coins in auctions, and their prices can skyrocket. In fact, some 1996 pennies in pristine condition have sold for thousands, and when combined with rare errors, the price can reach tens of thousands. For the most extraordinary finds, some even speculate values could approach millions, especially as collector demand continues to grow in today's market. Imagine the excitement of a person casually going through their change and noticing something unusual on their 1996 penny. Perhaps the lettering looks doubled, or the coin seems struck slightly off-center. That small discovery could be life-changing. Stories circulate of individuals who unknowingly held valuable coins for years before realizing their worth. For them, what was once a simple cent suddenly transformed into an investment, a piece of history, and in some cases, a ticket to financial freedom. But beyond the money, the Lincoln 1996 penny carries cultural and historical significance. By 1996, America had experienced massive changes, from technology's rapid growth to shifts in politics and global influence. The penny itself was already a topic of debate, with many questioning its continued usefulness in an economy where 1 cent had little purchasing power. Yet the coin persisted, continuing a legacy that stretched back nearly a century. For collectors, that continuity makes each penny not just a piece of metal, but a symbol of tradition, heritage, and the memory of Abraham Lincoln himself. Collectors also prize the 1996 penny for its accessibility. While not all coins are worth millions, the fact that so many were minted means anyone can start collecting, searching through pocket change or coin rolls from the bank. It creates an equal opportunity for discovery, where anyone, regardless of background, can stumble upon a hidden gem. This democratic nature of coin collecting is part of what makes it so thrilling. Ordinary people become treasure hunters, turning everyday life into a journey of exploration. When you think about the Lincoln 1996 1-cent coin, don't think of it as just copper-plated zinc. Think of it as a mystery box, a lottery ticket of history, where the right version could unlock unimaginable value. The stories of pennies selling for jaw-dropping amounts are not myths. They are real events that prove how extraordinary rarity and condition can turn the simplest object into a priceless artifact. Whether it's a proof coin preserved in near perfection, an error coin that defies minting standards, or a high-grade circulation coin that survived decades unscathed, the 1996 penny is a reminder that greatness can be hidden in plain sight. So the next time you see a penny, don't ignore it. Pick it up, examine it closely, and look for those tiny details that could make all the difference. Because hidden among billions of ordinary coins might be one that changes everything, one that turns the smallest denomination into a symbol of wealth, history, and possibility. The Lincoln 1996 1-cent coin teaches us that fortune doesn't always come from where we expect it. It can come from the most overlooked and underestimated places. And maybe, just maybe, the key to your own treasure chest is already in your pocket.